Yeah. I'm going to look down at the screen the whole time.
What is going on, guys? SPC and Aviators here, and yes, finally, if it focuses, here we go. Welcome to the first episode of the Midwest Horror Central podcast.
We finally found time to do this. I will take the blame because of my work schedule, but I am on vacation, so we finally found a decent time. And hopefully I won't be such a lazy sack of shit. Well,
we'll make it work when we can.
Yeah.
Just for the record, too, guys, I know some of you might be confused. Maybe. I don't know. But we just decided we were going to do this podcast here on my channel instead of making a whole new channel. We
figured it's a lot simpler. We got everything already set up on his channel. So we are... Hi, Kellen. We're just going to do this here. So I know that sounds kind of like it's like we're being lazy, and yeah, fair point. We kind of are.
In a way we are, but like I said, this is just a lot easier to do.
Right.
So, but guys, today's topic, we are going to be, I guess for our very first podcast here, we are going to be talking about the South Korean zombie horror film, Train to Busan. We did just get done watching it.
Shh. No, you're supposed to tell me. We don't say that, remember? Remember Resident Evil 2 when I made that mistake? We tell them that we filmed it at a different time.
Well, this is live, Ethan.
Oh, hi. Just kidding.
Although, guys, before we do get started, obviously...
We want to do a quick bring up something that happened yesterday that surprised everybody in the U.S. Chadwick Boseman. May his soul rest in peace. That was a hard time for everybody for all of you Marvel fans like me and Austin, that was a very tough news to comprehend and to take in. 43 and nobody even knew he had colon cancer. That threw everyone off.
Yeah, it was weird hearing that last night before I went to sleep. So, I mean,
I shared it on my Facebook. You shared it on yours.
Everybody's been sharing it. Everybody's been talking about it on every platform of social media or whatever. So,
well, I think we can all agree though that this year sucked, and it's not just because of COVID, but we've lost a lot of great people, celebrities alike. Like Jerry Stiller, I kind of cried when he died. For all you know, he's Ben Stiller's dad. He was on Seinfeld. He played George Costanza's dad.
He's also on King of Queens.
Yep, King of Queens. Who else did we lose?
Burt Ward?
Yep.
Something like that. Bruce Ward. I don't know.
And Wilford Brimley.
Yep, one of the stars of The Thing.
Yep. So it's been a bad, it's been a terrible year. I'm ready for it to be done. In fact, I think my for next year the resolution is going to be not to be like 2020.
Yeah, so Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace.
Rest in
Wakanda
peace.
Forever.
Wakanda forever.
Bombay. So now that we got the sad part out of the way, let's talk about Train to Busan. First of all, you guys, if you guys haven't seen the film, please go watch it. It's on Netflix, or you can watch it for free on Vudu.
I was a skeptic when I first watched it because, well, you do want to, I don't know. With me, I've always taken zombie movies with a grain of salt. I probably only watched maybe one episode of Walking Dead now that I think about it. Wasn't really a big fan. But this one just had such an emotional impact in the movie and such a great storyline. I mean, it wasn't just about the zombies. It was about the people, it was about their backgrounds, and it was sad and it was just epic all at the same time.
Yeah, I literally can't describe it, but literally a 5-star, just perfect film.
I give it a 10-star.
Yeah,
I don't care how that works. I give it a solid 10.
Unless you guys who are here, unless you guys don't really care about spoilers or anything, if you don't think it's going to ruin the film for you, by all means, stick around. let's have some fun. We'll probably talk some more about some zombie stuff, even though, again, Ethan's not a huge fan, but
What? Of the movie?
zombie films.
Oh, yeah.
In general.
Well, this one, I'll make an exception. And Resident Evil. But then again, that was more of the game, not the movie. You know?
Guys, basically, the story of Train to Busan is this guy up here. If I can get it right, there we go. His name is Sok Woo. I know.
Yeah, you're gonna have to name the characters because I'm terrible with that.
There's gonna be some strange names. I'm gonna forward.
They're not strange. They're Korean.
I know, but for us, they're strange. Yeah. But this is the story of Sok Woo and his daughter Suwon. They're heading to Busan on a train. I know this is a bad example, but in the midst of their journey to Busan, there is a pandemic going on, and it's
I would call that more of an epidemic.
Epidemic, whatever. Sorry, my bad.
Don't let it happen again.
Okay, my bad. Whatever. But throughout all of this, these two, along with all the other characters in this film, I don't know all their names, so I do apologize. I'm gonna just kind of say who they are, really. But throughout all this, there ends up being a zombie apocalypse going on, and that's literally like the basic premise of the film.
You know, see, the thing of it is, let's take a step back. I wouldn't necessarily call this a zombie apocalypse. Because zombies, I always look at as people that are already dead and they're popping out of the ground, right? They're already dead. They're lifeless. This is more of an infected. You know, I always tell people there's a huge difference between zombies and infected. Zombies are literally already dead. And that's why I say, like in Resident Evil games, when you see a zombie, it's not really a zombie. It's, you know, it's infected. Infected is a person that's alive but got bitten by another infected that gives them zombie characteristics.
You know, after watching this film, no joke, guys, this is the 6th time I've seen this film in the last 6 months. Like, that's not even a lie. Like,
that's why I'm going to let him talk a little more about it.
I love this film. I love it so much. No joke.
Would you have sex with it?
If I could.
Yeah.
I'd do it. I don't know where I'd start, but I'd start somewhere. But no, this has made it onto my top 10 horror list, and no joke, it's probably number 3. Like, it's literally perfect. I love it.
I don't know where I'd rate it on my list. I'd say probably.
Unfortunately, this beats Dawn of the Dead now as my favorite zombie film. It's that good.
You know, God, I don't even know. I'd probably list it at maybe number 5, and that's not because I didn't think the film was good. It's just
you just have more nostalgia with the other films.
Yeah.
See, unfortunately, it's still not going to beat Halloween and The Shining. They're both really good horror films, but again,
that's why I can't surpass those.
Just even films in general. It's up there on my top 10 list of all-time favorite films. And you know, even too, I'm going to say this, even though this is a South Korean horror film and you have to read the entire film, me personally, I don't know how Ethan is. I guess we'll get his opinion here in a second. It did not take me out of the film at all.
No.
No. You can read, but you can still stick with what the characters are doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I stayed focused the whole time. It caught me. It drugged me in, and it kept me there. Whereas other horror films that we haven't thought were that good, we usually that's when I start going on my phone and I start checking the time and whatnot. But this one I do give maximum credit for, and I don't think I have anything really bad to put in. And you know, we mentioned in the video we just made too, we are being critical, but we try not to be movie critics because we do realize that no matter what, even if the film's bad, him and I cannot do any better. The most we can do is talk about a movie and what we thought, not the general opinion, just what we thought, and that's about it. But we in no way know that we can't. You get a lot of movie critics that kind of have that mentality where they could probably do a better film if they can. More power to them. But this Train to Busan, I really can't think of anything at the top of my head right now.
I mean, it's like when people like make movie rankings and stuff. You know, they always say this is just my list. This is just my opinions. It's not right list.
But they try to make it sound like that should be the general opinion, though. That's what I'm saying. But anyway.
See, like me, like I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna say like it's literally the best zombie film in the entire world out of all of them, out of Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Land of the Dead, whatever of the Dead,
House of the Dead. That was a game,
but no, just my personal opinion. It's the single best zombie film or infected film, however you want to word it.
You can say zombie film. I'm just saying that's my definition of a zombie. Dead people coming back from the dead.
Yeah.
Simple. And these people weren't dead. They got bit and then changed into transformed into a monster. We'll just call it I'll call it a monster flick. You know?
I'm still considering it a zombie flick in some ways. So, why do you gotta be so rude all the time? Like, why? Why is it always here? Off camera, you're all nice. You're all, oh, hi, buddy, how you doing? The second the camera comes on, it's all, oh, hey, buddy, how's it going?
Oh, stop. That's just abuse.
Sorry, now look what you did. Now you broke it. I'm not turning this on to see if it fixes our problem here. Sorry, guys, the camera keeps going out of focus. So, that's fine. But, yeah, so, obviously, I don't even know how we're really going to word this. I was going to say, why don't we talk about the positives of the film? But, I mean,
that's all we can think of.
There's literally, I literally have no negatives. The only maybe small little critique I would have about this film is sometimes the zombies kind of get a little overused because there's parts of this that are like World War Z, where there's like literally almost like a swarm of zombies coming out of one place. But other than that, I mean, they still make it look really good. Like at the beginning of the film, first big positive, the first 5 to 10 minutes of this film literally sets up the premise for the rest of it. It's an almost 2-hour long film, but it literally sets up the premise of everything. They talk about this, what is it? I don't want to say company. I don't know. There's like this.
It's a funding company.
There's a funding company that Sok-woo works at. And they're telling him to go and sell off all these. I don't even know exactly, but they're selling stuff off, and it ends up being part of what's going on in the beginning of the film is there's a contamination, and there's these people here at the stations, and they're cleaning off all the vehicles, telling them to just go home, do this. This guy runs over this deer and ends up killing it. And as soon as he starts driving away, it starts just coming back to life. And just everything that they talk about, it sets up the premise of the entire film. And then even going into where...
Well, that part of the film kind of makes it more scary because I think they didn't realize that animals could become infected from it too.
Yeah.
They thought it was just human based.
Yeah, it's... Oh, that's trippy.
Sorry, I'm shaking my knee. That's why it looks like I'm shaking on one side.
But the other huge positive I have to give this film is the pacing. It's not like boom, here are the zombies.
Yeah.
Or the infected, whatever.
We'll just call it zombies.
I can't help it now because now I know that's not what you're gonna call it.
I'm not saying anything.
But no, they don't overdo it. They do like build the characters.
They do.
They start fleshing them out more, and it starts actually getting to be, these are the characters you're going to be with throughout the entirety of the film. And they do a good job actually, introducing us to these characters and kind of telling us what they do, even showing us that Sok-woo is going through a divorce, and he's basically a single father.
Well, I thought he was already divorced.
Already divorced, yeah. Either way, he's not with his wife anymore.
Yeah.
But, and you kind of see like the broken household. His daughter, Suwon,
it was her birthday.
Yeah, it's her birthday. He bought her a Wii.
She already had a Wii.
Yeah. The premise between these two is he doesn't know anything about his daughter. He's just constantly working. He's a workaholic.
And also his daughter had a play
recital
at her school, and she was singing. She couldn't even finish the song, and it's revealed later on that it's because her dad wasn't there. Which I knew that from the beginning. I'm like, that had to have been the cause. Because why else would they have her just stop midway? And I thought that part was just, it's like, aw, I mean, I don't try to get emotional, but I was like, oh, that's cute.
This film transforms a lot too. Like, it goes from
the people transform too.
Lots of people transform in this film. Lots of them. That's the other big positive I want to give this film. This guy here.
I'm looking at this.
I know you're like, wait, what? We're looking. We have a blue screen behind us, but Sok-woo, man, his character development in this film is seriously probably some of the best I've seen in a movie.
Yeah, because he pretty much comes off as a selfish prick.
Yeah,
the first, I'd say first
probably at least the
half
first
hour.
No, probably the first hour of the film.
Yeah.
But once you start getting more into like the middle of the second act, he kind of starts, opening up his eyes because his daughter.
And then that guy. No, sorry, I'm trying to. This is so awkward. He absolutely hates Sok-woo's guts because he looks at Sok-woo as a person that takes the hardworking citizens' money and runs off with it. Leeches off with her.
Bloodsucker is literally what he calls him.
Yeah, or a leech.
A leech, yeah. Yep. It's even more funny, too, because he's asking his daughter, like, oh, what's your dad do? Oh, he's a fund manager. Oh, so he's a life sucker. Gotcha. And the woman's all sitting there like, no, don't say that in front of her. It's okay, because a lot of people, I guess, talk real
she's
ill
used
about
to it. I love the part when he's like, she's, what's the little girl's name? Suwon touches the pregnant lady's stomach, and then he's like, I made that.
Oh, yeah, the guy pointing down, he's like, I made that. I helped make that. And she's all, idiot. No, like, seriously, like, the character development in this film is insane.
Yep.
Like, even again, we were just talking about this guy here. The biggest badass in this film, man. He is bare knuckle hitting every single zombie that he comes by.
Well, he's pretty buff too. I kind of looked at him as just like this fat dude.
That's what I thought too. And then
he takes off his jacket and then he
takes that blazer off, man, and he's
got those triceps and biceps, and
he's ripped.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, it's.
Well, let's talk about the school kids. What sport was it that they were playing? Was it soccer?
No, it was baseball.
Baseball
or softball, one or the other, because they had bats.
Yeah. And what was the girl, the cheerleader's name?
Oh,
and she was hitting on one of the baseball players. He was you had all of his teammate or his teammates, and then you had him, who he was like the primary, focus of the team throughout the movie. And then the girl who was a cheerleader had like a mad crush on her, but he basically put her in the friend zone, which was a little bit surprising to me. It's always the other way around.
Yeah, like even the interactions between all the characters are so good. Like Ethan just said, the two young kids, their interactions are great.
And he is he is
right here, Ethan. You're not good.
I'm looking at the screen.
You're not good at this.
He's right here.
But even too, there's a lot of parts in this film, man, where like the zombies are just everywhere.
Yep.
Like
you're gonna get that with every zombie film. Yeah. Eventually in the climax.
Well, they feel they're talking to these people in Daejeon. Again, this is in South Korea, so I'm only naming the couple places that I know. But they're talking to them saying that, oh, yeah, the military's there. Everything should be fine. Everything should be safe. Everybody gets off the train who's not infected. And then Sok-woo and his daughter, they end up going their own way because he knows this other, I think he's like a sergeant. I don't remember. But turns out the entire military is now zombies. And all the remaining survivors are going down an escalator. And there's just all the military just
and some police.
And some police. They're all turned. They run up the stairs. They just start mauling people, and it's just from there on, it gets more and more intense. Especially the entire sequence after all that. After all the remaining survivors get back onto the train, you have Sakwu. I'm just going to call him the badass because I really don't know what his name is. And the baseball kid. They literally go through 4 trains of zombies just to try and get to the survivors. To end up finding out that they're not allowed on because there's a COO in this film.
Who is pretty much the primary human villain in this film.
If you watch this film and you think this guy is a selfish prick, you wait till you see this guy probably in the last 45 minutes of the film. You are going to...
Well, his character gets worse and worse as it goes on. He gets more and more cruel as the film progresses because he's urging the train conductor and the engineer to just take the engine, not the boxcars, and just pretty much take him with and get him out of there and leave everyone else behind. And I'm thinking, and that is the cruelest thing you can do. The most selfish, cruelest thing you could absolutely do. And it's pointing out this was basically like Wall Street people. They're at the top of the food chain and they look at everyone else as less. And that's really explored in this film too. And it's pointing that out because in a zombie apocalypse, everyone's in the same boat. It doesn't matter what class you're on or what class you're part of. Everyone is in this disaster together.
That's the thing I appreciate the most about these, because there's also a prequel and a sequel to Train to Busan. And this film that we're talking about right now, it talks more about the upper class guys. So all the rich, all the money makers,
all
basically.
The smashing people.
Yeah, smashing. Yeah. But then you get to Seoul Station. That's the prequel, which, by the way, an anime version. It's another great one. We're going to watch that someday. Mm. Probably in the next 2 months from next time I see Ethan.
We can watch it tonight, too.
We have another movie to watch, and it's 2.5 hours.
It's another Korean movie.
It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a long movie. But in there, it focuses more on the homeless people, which I actually really like too. And then the new one that just came out is called Peninsula. And ironically enough, every single person in the apocalypse now, they're all the standard. It's the norm now. There's no upper class. There's middle class. Yeah, there's nothing like that. Everybody is just how they are. They're all going to be fighting for survival.
Oh, I was telling Austin, too. This film predicted COVID-19. I'm just kidding. Because we haven't turned into zombie infected yet. And hopefully it doesn't come to that.
Hopefully not. This film came out 4 years before COVID-19. So. But it's it's a prequel to COVID-19. Train to COVID.
Train to COVID. That's going to be our movie. We thought of it first. Copyright infringement for any other YouTuber.
Just at least say you got inspired by us. That's all I ask, at least.
Train to Bismarck.
Train to Bismarck, yeah.
Tractor to Bismarck.
Just 2 people on a tractor. Yeah. Flies everywhere.
Mosquitoes.
I'll give up my life for you, then I'll come back.
And you're wearing just like a large mosquito costume.
Sorry.
But
no, the thing that this film does right compared to any other zombie film I've ever seen,
specifically American zombie films,
very specifically.
God, I feel like we're being treasonous.
We kind of.
I don't care though.
I can't help it, dude. I've seen 3 or 4 South Korean horror films, and they have been amazing. Again, he was just talking about The Wailing. I just watched that this morning, and that was another.
Was that your first time?
That was my first time watching it this morning. Seoul Station I've seen twice. Train to Busan I've seen 6 times. And I know there's another one. I can't think
Maybe
of what it's
we
called.
need to take a trip to South Korea.
No, because there's zombies there now.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So I don't want to do that. We're sorry, there's monsters there now.
Infected.
Whatever. Potato.
But anyway.
So, What's the next thing to talk about when it comes to Train to Busan?
Well, there was hardly any CGI.
Very seldom.
Yeah, and you know the thing is with like American zombie films, like they do use people, but there are instances where instead of using actual people, they'll use a CGI person, you know, that they completely made by computer and use them as a zombie. And then you look at that and you're like, obviously a zombie apocalypse isn't realistic, but you want to make it seem like if there is, then make it with actual people. Don't use CGI. You know, like in World War Z when all the zombies are climbing over each other. That obvious CGI. And you had a little bit of that in Train to Busan, but very minimally to where you don't notice it. And that's the downfall about American CGI is that you just notice it. And now maybe Koreans are watching that, you know, Train to Busan and saying, oh, that looks so fake. But
for us, it's practical, man. Like practical effects are
real
way
people,
better than CGI.
Real people are better than CGI. Makeup is better than CGI. You know, it's like and many people may look at that as cheap, but that's the glory of it. You kind of want something. I'm not saying it's cheesy, but if it's cheap and they can still make it look good, then it really shouldn't matter.
Two films come on the top of my head that are probably the best out of all the practical effect films. The original Alien and The Thing.
The 2011, the prequel. Or are you talking the original?
Well, the original with the practical effects.
Oh, yeah.
CGI, yeah, it's obviously the Thing 2011, but no, that's the thing I definitely appreciate the most about this film is practical effects. Like I'm a sucker for practical effects. Obviously, of course, you know, you watch, you know, Star Wars films, Marvel films, any other films.
Star Wars does suck.
And then it's all CGI.
Yeah, that's why I don't watch. That's why I don't regret what I said.
You will.
I do kind of. I have to sleep with both eyes open.
You will. Sock, I need your help.
Blue screen can't talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding about Star Wars. But I know what you mean though. Yeah, Star Wars does use CGI.
Lots of CGI.
Yeah.
But practical effects, man. I mean, it's sad that they're not used as much as they are anymore. Especially the next film we watch too. They're no CGI, all practical. So good.
Well, not to get off topic, but is this going to be more? Are there any jump scares, or is this going to be like a creepy?
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it to you.
Well,
all I can tell you, it's psychological horror, and it's intense and creepy.
I'm excited for it.
We totally did not talk about Train to Busan for like 5 minutes.
That's what makes a live podcast difficult. You get so sidetracked. But I really can't. That's the problem, though. I don't know what to talk about Train to Busan because usually when we talk, it's kind of like to point out some things we didn't like. I didn't like the CEO guy, and he gets infected later on the new train that the engineer goes to get, and bites Sakwu, and that was the worst part too. He gets bit on the hand, so of course he didn't transform right away. And then his daughter tells his daughter not to follow him on the train. And the pregnant woman goes in the cab, and she operates the train. And then he goes to the back of the engine, and he's slowly turning into a zombie. So confused at this point. And he starts having flashbacks about when he held her as a baby, and he starts smiling as he's already changed into a zombie, and he's still conscious enough to where I think that's the worst part is that he's still, even as a zombie, he's conscious, he's self-aware, and then he jumps off the train and commits suicide. And I almost cried at that part.
I did. I cry every time. The thing that makes that scene so much more powerful is Suwon in the cab just screaming and crying.
That's what makes a good child actor. You don't see him a lot. Too many these days.
Yeah, they're all kind of
in the US
cheesy right now.
So a little side note, I saw on Twitter too, Macaulay Culkin, he posted, "You guys shouldn't feel bad. I'm 40.
my God.
And somebody posted in the comments that gif of him doing this in Home Alone, and I'm like, yes, perfect. Anyway,
so cheesy.
Oh God. And the thing that really almost made me jump is the part where they get to that military checkpoint. They're walking through the tunnel, the pregnant lady and Suan, and there's two soldiers observing him walk down the tunnel, one with a sniper rifle and the other with binoculars. And they ask their commanding officer, or they let the commanding officer know that there's two individuals walking down the tunnel. And the commander asks, can you verify if they're infected? They couldn't. And so the commander tells them to kill them. And the guy with the sniper rifle aims the rifle at the pregnant woman's head and just about pulls the trigger when he hears Suan singing. And then they stop what they're doing, and then they get soldiers down the tunnel to go and help them. And that's pretty much where the film ends. And I was almost like, no, that can't happen. There's already been so much hell going on in this film. If that were to have happened, I would have turned off the movie.
There are so many likable characters in this film that it's weird, because the only way I can describe this film is like Game of Thrones. Like, don't get attached, because it seems like literally everybody that you like in this film is gone. Like, the only two survivors out of everybody on that train is the daughter and the pregnant woman. Other than that, everybody's gone. Literally everybody here on this screen is gone except for the wife and the kid.
You're pointing the wrong way.
I know. That's fine. I'm confused. But it's seriously just, it's such a powerful film. Like, again, this is my 6th time watching it, and I still love it. It gets better every time I watch it. Unfortunately, now I know where everything happens. I know who's going to get killed. Like, this is going to sound so horrible, but the ending scene Ethan was just talking about when they're coming down the tunnel, he's sitting there, no. I'm sitting there like, this is going to sound horrible. I'm trying not to laugh because I already know it's coming and I already know what happens. But then it gets to the point where he's like about to pull a trigger and it's like halfway done. He's like, no, he's freaking out.
I didn't freak out that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but yeah, you were getting pretty like.
Well,
you were getting pretty nervous.
I was thinking as if it can't get any worse,
But that, just the ending scene alone is what makes me more excited about seeing Peninsula, because I want to know now what happened. What happened immediately after that? How did the 4 years pass, and how did we get to where we are now? Of course, Soul Station, I said I've seen it again. It's supposed to be the story of like the very first outbreak, where it happens, how it kind of spreads throughout all of South Korea, and kind of even too how it even honestly affects the world. And the only way I can ever describe this film, if you've seen any one of these, it's a mixture of World War Z and Snowpiercer.
Well, question though, is Train to Busan, is that supposed to be a worldwide zombie apocalypse, or is it just in South Korea?
I think it just starts in South Korea, but I think it eventually just spreads like the plague. Eventually. I don't know. I'm not going to know, unfortunately, until I see Peninsula, which is in theaters, and it is at AMC's, but unfortunately,
we don't have one.
The AMC we had closed thanks to,
coronavirus.
COVID. Thanks.
They went bankrupt.
So I unfortunately have to wait till it comes out on VOD. When it does.
But, that's not a bad thing, because the anticipation is always good, because you're at the edge of your seat going, oh my God, I can't wait,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was even the same way when I watched this film. Like, literally, the second I finished it, I wanted to watch it again. Even right now, re-talking about it again. Like, it's... I don't know, man. It's just... It hooked me. Like, I'm sucked into this world. It's now going to be a trilogy. It's probably honestly going to be up there with some of my favorite trilogies of all time as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is. Again, for me, it's a perfect film. 5 stars, 10 stars. Like, go see it. Seriously, watch this film. Come back. Go into the comments section. After this, it might take a little while, but I'm going to upload our overall review of Train to Busan. It's going to be very minimalized, but we still had fun talking about it. We've basically been talking about it for the last hour since we've watched it. And we'll probably come back eventually here on this podcast.
We'll come back.
Well, we'll come back, yeah. But we'll probably talk about Seoul Station. We'll probably talk about Peninsula. And depending on what Ethan thinks about it, I want to make a review too on The Wailing.
Just thought of something.
Ethan's laughing. It's never good. This is not going to be good.
So Seoul Station, it's so weird because you know the band Train and they sing Soul Sister. And Soul, I don't know. It just to me it's like somebody makes a music video of Soul Station. They put Soul Sister by the band Train. I don't know. I think that's kind of funny. Yeah, I know, cheesy, and everyone's probably like, but whatever.
All right, guys. So this is the last ever episode of the Midwest Horror Central podcast. We're never doing this again.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we will. So, guys, I know this wasn't a horribly exciting first podcast for us, but we're trying to just get the ball rolling. We just wanted to talk about a movie. We figured we just watched a horror film. We figured we'd get on here and we'd just talk about it. Mm-hmm. Again, I had fun watching the film for the 6th time. Obviously, Ethan really enjoyed it for the first time.
I did.
I hope it's a continuous watch. I hope it gets higher up on your horror list eventually. If not, maybe tops it. It probably won't, though, because it's The Shining.
Well, with me or
you?
With me? Well, no, I still loved it. I just you can't beat The Shining.
I know. It can't even beat Halloween for me.
Yeah, I know.
Even though I will sadly say it's a better made film than Halloween, but yeah. I can't. Michael all the way. So, guys, again, thank you so much for being here on our first podcast for the Midwest Horror Central. Again, sorry we're not doing a channel anymore, but again, it just works a lot easier for us. Make sure you guys come back. Make sure you guys go check out. I'm going to link it below, and I'll put a card above. Go check out mine and Ethan's top 10 horror movie rankings of all time. That was a lot of fun. Maybe we'll have to do an updated one because mine has changed significantly since our last one. It's been over a year.
I can't say mine has really changed unless we watch Wailing, and then it might change too. I mean, I'll probably switch that up too. You know me, I'm more of a psychological horror guy.
Yeah, no, mine's 5 of my movies have changed, so half of my list has changed completely. So
right.
But thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Again, be ready for our Train to Busan review. We're going to come back and talk about the rest of the franchise. So
Train, Soul Sister,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cricket noise.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe again if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.